Greetings and welcome back to another episode of Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and I am joined today, as always, by Mr. Kyle Ferguson and No Dills. He's off doing something. I believe he's golfing, Kyle. I believe he's doing something that...
Physical games?
What is this? I know. I believe he's off doing something that you and I would never do.
It's like football right now. I'm like, oh, sweet, man, Dota's finally firing up. So excited for the International World Cup still going. How many games are there?
Yeah, man, I can't get into it. I've tried. Actually, no, I didn't really try. I just don't care. No, I'm sorry. I didn't try, and I'm not going to try. And I'm really looking forward to not having to see every other post on my Twitter feed be about soccer.
It's not so much that, it's the pandering that really just, like, irks me.
The pandering?
Yeah, like, McDonald's, you probably don't care about football, soccer, but when it's out, like, man, you just splash on everything. Every commercial is all about how much we love our international viewers.
Yeah. Oh, well. What are you going to do? It's not
what
for
you
us.
gotta
We don't
do
have to
is
watch
just
it.
respect Adult Swim for what they did, which was, oh, World Cup's going on. Here's a picture of a football. Back to the show.
Gotta always love Adult Swim. You gotta love it.
I was in a lot of hotels recently. I don't have cable, so I got to enjoy all sorts of weird advertisements I'm never exposed to. Teen Titans Go, that's a great cartoon.
Nice. I haven't seen it at all, nor am I particularly interested. I never got into Teen Titans, even like when it's in its first run.
They took Teen Titans and they made it like Fairly Odd Parents, so that animation style. So they more deal with the wackiness and the comedy. Same voice actors.
Oh, cool. All right. Sounds fair enough.
Whatever. Korra's the only thing worth watching right now.
You're damn right it is. This season has been wonderful so far.
Just don't Deus Ex Machina out on us again, okay?
No.
No flying little girls, please.
Although we had some in this past episode, but it was good.
It was acceptable.
I'm fine with it.
I was nervous, but it was okay.
It works well. It was like the equivalent of Obi-Wan waving his hand to distract a couple of stormtroopers. It was fine.
Sure, yeah,
It's fine.
absolutely.
It's fine. I may have watched Star Wars last night. Anyways, we are here. If you're listening to this, you're like, well, where's the live show? Well, there wasn't one. We're going to be doing an all mailbag episode. So we're going to be taking your guys' emails. We're going to be taking quite a few. And this is because if you're listening to this, I'm out of town. You're hearing me from the past. I got in a DeLorean. And so there's that. We didn't want to leave you guys hanging for like 2 weeks because I'm leaving on a Thursday, which is when we record the show, so we would have missed 2 weeks. So I'm like, no, we got to. That is unacceptable. We have to record something and have it up on the feed for all of our fine listeners out there. So, as always, the email to send things to is itncast@gmail.com, and that is where all of the emails you hear today are coming from. So let's dive right into it, Kyle. Our first email today comes to us from listener Jake, and Jake writes, "Hey guys, I've been playing various MOBA games for the last year or so and was dying to give HOTS a try. It's Heroes. HOTS is StarCraft.
It's so confusing. It's Blizzard's fault. Why'd you do this, Blizzard?
Yeah, thanks, Blizzard. Thank you so much. Anyway, Jake continues. What I quickly realized is that it's much more of a team and objective game than any of the others I have played. I've been feeling lately that in games such as this, does it respect a player's skill level when the balance of the game is so heavily team-based? As in, as a player, I often feel like my potential skill level isn't being respected, as I alone cannot change the course of the game. Maybe this is a welcome departure from the norm. Looking forward to your thoughts. Loving the show, guys. Keep up the great work." Thanks for your email, Jake. You're not alone. I've heard this sentiment from a decent amount of people. Definitely... I feel like this thought process is coming from the more seasoned Dota and LoL players, more than newcomers, obviously.
Right.
Because in those games we have what in Dota anyway. I don't play really any League of Legends, but in Dota they straight up say it. It's in the game. It's a carry. Like this is someone where if you are good, you can carry your terrible team's ass to victory.
Right, and there's even more busy lanes to be in. We have some 3-lane maps. Blackheart's Bay does not count. That is 2 lanes and then experience lane down in the bottom.
Blackheart's Bay is a cluster.
Yes,
An
it is.
absolute cluster.
the most different map there is over any MOBA.
And I don't like it. It's my least favorite map by a landslide victory. I don't like that map.
I enjoy it. I enjoy the sort of arena-esque feeling where there's no creeps, just the throwdown.
Well, there are creeps. There are creeps, but very rarely are you ever in a lane with them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there are no creeps like pushing past Blackheart, turning in his point.
It's funny because when you look at Blackheart's Bay, and we're getting off topic already, but whatever. It's the biggest map in the game, but it seems like the smallest.
Yeah.
Because you're only fighting in this one little area. And every now and then you're like, all right, guys, put on your walking shoes because it's time to a journey to that golem up north. Oh, man, yeah, I don't like that map. I don't like that
a
map
lot
at
like
all.
some otter cards in Hearthstone where it's just like, what could this possibly be used for? And then some guy comes up with a deck and everyone goes, oh my god, it's now the best card ever. I mean, like Gadgets and Auctioneer.
No,
that costs $5.
That thing was good out the gate, dude.
But like you just like looking at it like straight out of your pack, you're like, okay, neat, but this thing costs $5. Like, when am I gonna play this and play a spell? Well, eventually everyone learned that you can throw a bunch of crap spells in there and it's worth it for the amount of draw you get.
Not even crap spells, man. It's good. It's a good card. Really good card.
I'm just saying. If you're going for like the best spells, you are not going to put like a Moonfire in your deck.
No, but there currently is no deck running Moonfire, period, even with a Gadgets and Auctioneer. So it's a bad example. So there you go. Anyway, let's answer Jake's question, damn it.
But what I'm saying is I'm looking forward to like an esports to kind of come along with this game and go, that guy all the way up in the top of Blackheart's Bay, like he's getting stuff done. You got to respect that man who is not contributing in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because he's given XP that no one else is getting.
I feel like I disagree with Jake here. If you had talked to me maybe a month ago, I think I may have been more on the same page with you, Jake. But recently, there's been a big influx of new players, and you can tell when someone with a higher skill is. You can tell who those players are. I've been in many games lately where I've been judging the other players at a loud volume, just like, what is this Rainer doing? What is he doing? He just runs in and he dies. Clearly, if you're a better player, it's going to show.
Right. And we did just open up to international audiences. So it brings a lot of new players. It brings a lot of people who don't communicate in the same languages. So there's some barriers to overcome right now.
Have you come across anyone not speaking the same language? I haven't run into that yet.
Not typing, but I've been extremely vocal at particular individuals, and I hope in encouraging ways. Like, if we're losing halfway through, I'm very much like a grab the team by the neck and like, come on, guys, like you there, let's do this.
I'll defend you on this too. Kyle never gets salty, ever. And I rage quit on his ass the other day because the game was going so bad, and he just like texts me like, you're a pussy, but I still love you. He never gets salty, ever. For
me, because I love tower defenses. That's what it's about. Like, tower defenses, you play to lose. And whenever you lose, you go, well, shucks. Level 13 today. Maybe tomorrow will be level 14. That was awesome. But, yeah, you can't let it get to you. But, like, someday, maybe down the road, if that became a habit, yes, I would talk to you. I don't want to play with people who just, leave or rage. But, like,
no,
it's a really bad game.
I'm pretty sure it's the only time I've ever really done that. Like, we've done that in StarCraft, but like that's a little more like... I can't tell you how many times you and I have been like, yeah, let's leave this game, but then like one of us stays in anyway for some weird reason because we didn't communicate correctly. I think that's the first time I truly ever just was like, I'm out.
Right.
Like,
and well, there's a computer for the guy. Like it's not 30 minutes left with some horrible system that was going to mean I would be punished for you leaving.
No. They were breaking down our wall. UPS was here for me. I'm like, I'm done. I'm leaving.
I didn't know about it. I knew you said you had to get to Korra, which I understand, man. Like,
yeah. Had to get done, watch some Korra. But yeah, Jake, I mean, obviously you're not going to get you're not going to be like Ricky and Dota, and you're 5 levels ahead of everyone else on your team and you're just running the map. That's not going to happen. And again, anytime we talk about things we don't like in other MOBAs that we do like about this MOBA, we get emails like, stop hating on this MOBA and that MOBA. It's like, I really want to beat into everyone's head that I love Dota, and I think it is, I honestly think it's the best esport out there right now. I'm enjoying watching it more than StarCraft. I love it to death. But the thing I hate the most about Dota is douchebag carries that feel like they can just call me every name in the book because they've stolen all the XP and gold and they feel like a badass. It's artificial. If everything was on a level playing field like it is in this game, I feel like the truly good players stand out. So I prefer this.
Right. Every once in a while in a Dota game, there is that guy where you're just like, just take it, man. Like there's some tinker running around or something, just owning the entire map, teleporting every which way, and you just go, it's yours. I'll back you. I'll buy you trees or something, man. But whatever, have fun. Win me this game. But that's kind of what our assassin classes are. If you want to be like the star player, you should be an assassin.
And you should you should be playing Vala. You should just be playing Vala.
Yeah, Vala, Nova. Like these are people who you show up on the scene. There's a team fight going on, and everyone goes, "Oh, thank goodness Nova Vala is here." Because it's time for a throwdown. Stitches is another one that is very much like a presence on the map. People kind of hit the tab when the game gets going, see the enemy players, and you go, okay, oh, gosh, damn it, murky. Oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. Oh, damn, Stitches. Like, so.
Yep. Yeah. And Stitches is not an assassin, but you're right. You're absolutely right. He has that, like, you see him come into the fight, and it completely changes, or it should anyway, if you've played this game a few times. Like, it completely changes how you approach the battle. It's just like, I need to make sure I'm not in a line from this guy. Like, I don't want to get gorged. I need to stay away from him. Absolutely. So,
and I feel like the fires on the names that they added right now, like, really add a lot to that. Like, there's just something about it's a perfect thing. I hope they don't tone it down. I really like where it is right now. It's just a flag above their heads that says, this man is skilled, and you want to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah, we were in a game the other night with a Stitches that never died, and he was like on so much fire by the late point in the game where I was just like, I just want to kill this guy. That's all I want. He is screwing this game up for us. He needs to die.
Want to take the title from him. And also, when I'm on fire, I get to say, check them flames, because I was doing some mad Tassadar the other day.
Yes, you were. Kyle is a disgusting Tassadar. It's really gross. Although, I had a couple notable moments as Vala in our games last night.
Yeah, that was it was a pretty sweet throwdown.
I cleared out the mines. It was 2-on-1 against a Zeratul. Was it Zeratul and a Nova?
Yeah, that's right. They both came invisible around the corner. Yeah. I threw down my storm to show them, and then I just died immediately.
Yep, and I killed them both, and I had like 5 health left at the end of it. And then I proceeded to go and clear out the rest of the mines uncontested.
The mines are an amazing place for Vala, because that bouncing arrow, if it has no one else to bounce to, that's half your health dead. Yep. So down in the mines, when they're just running around a goal, and that thing's not going to bounce it if it's not woken up yet. It just destroys them.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. So I guess to wrap it up, Jake, I totally see where you're coming from, and I've heard this from a lot of people. But I really feel like if you're a good player, you still stand out from the pack just in your actions. So, yeah. Colin writes in as our next email and says, I understand Blizzard implemented some catch-up mechanisms such as bonus XP while behind in the recent patch. Despite this, each of the dozen or so games I've played since I got in the alpha last week, win or lose, seems to be decided in the first few minutes, with the team gaining an early lead and maintaining it throughout. You guys say to never give up because you can always turn a game around, but I haven't seen this happen. The team in the lead seems to group up, force the other team away from map objectives and mercenary camps, then just keep snowballing for the win. What advice do you have for playing when 1 to 3 levels behind? How can we best catch up and turn the game around? Close matches are way more fun, but thus far I have not seen any close matches. Well, kind of like the guy who played for 6 hours on our last episode and didn't win a game. This is really uncommon, I feel like.
Yeah, I see what he means, though. It's easy to see that, particularly now that we have the new underdog system. Like, if they are 3 levels above, they feel just impossible. Someone like Diablo, who does jack damage, runs up and destroys you, and you're like, huh? But why? Like, this is like dying to shield slam. Sure, you can, like, spec for it, but no one wants to go back to, like, Shakadin days.
Right. And I wish Colin had mentioned, he didn't mention, is he solo queuing or is he playing with friends? because it's way different depending. But
yeah, there is also when you're with a larger group. I think if you go up to 3 people, you start being placed against pre-mades. So you may just possible. Be because what happens in solo queue is if they have that early advantage, and this is not a strategy to rely on, but often if they get that early advantage, like level 6, you're level 4, like whoa, like this game is totally over. Usually in a solo queue, the other team's going to get a bit full of themselves and fall apart. Maybe push too hard in a certain lane. You get that comeback by taking them out there. One hero thinks he's just the bee's knees and runs into your base and dies. Not a strategy to rely on. What you really need is map control. And that's the problem with them being a higher level is they're getting the mercs, they're getting the objectives, and there's no way for you to regain, kind of get out of your base. So what you need to do is hold the defense, because the more towers you have further out, that's the more map you control. And then you need to get your siege giants, and those are going to push out the lanes. Whether they actually do any damage or not, it makes the heroes show up on the mini-map. So you can go, okay, up top, knights have pushed. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's 3 there. So I know no matter what I do, what coins I go for, I will only possibly run into 2 heroes. Let's 3 of us go turn in some coins.
Exactly. And you mentioned the underdog system, which was recently implemented in the last huge alpha patch. And you're right. I've been in games now where the guys have been 3 levels ahead, and it sucks. But have you watched your XP bar when you get a kill on an enemy and you're 2 or 3 levels behind? It is a massive chunk of XP.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is just group up and try and catch a hero that's just like Kyle said, the guy that thinks he's too badass for his own pants and overextends. I don't know what that means. I don't know why I
love that expression.
I just exploded out of my mouth with no thought or reason to it.
You got the job, sir. Sir, what are you doing? Well, too badass for these pants. Gotta take them off right now.
Yeah, but just scoring 1 or 2. If you can just eke out 1 or 2 kills on the opposing team, that'll help you catch you up real fast.
Well, what also used to happen from the being ahead point of view, with the sort of trickle down system, you would get those 3 levels and you'd be like, "Oh, we're badasses. Let's do something real quick because if I go out in the woods and kill some mercenaries, they're gonna be caught up by the time I'm done." And it was really depressing in that way.
Yeah. And so obviously a lot of this stuff is way easier to accomplish if you're in a pre-made and you're in a TeamSpeak or a Skype call and you can talk to one another. If you're just solo queuing, it's a lot harder. When I'm behind in solo queue, it's usually what has happened is I've tried to direct everyone. They haven't listened. So I just start following the mob. And that's kind of your best bet in a solo queue. If no one's listening, if no one's taking the reins, and if you're trying to take the reins and it's not working, just try and stay grouped up the best you can.
Well, and let's talk about that real quick, because maybe that's something I'm sort of discounting in myself that I do and why I enjoy solo queuing so much. Taking the reins can be a huge factor. I was playing a game yesterday. We lost it in the end. But damn it, if I didn't take that ragtag group of misfits and make them work together, it was a sight to behold. It was a motivation 101. And basically what it came down to was pinging where I'm going. So I'm heading to the bottom shrine on Dragonshire.
Yeah.
No one attended me, but they knew I was going there at least. Then people would go for the top, someone would go wait in the middle. But even more important than this, and I feel like it really helps some people out who are newer at this game, calling out the deaths. So if you're pushing and the other team has 3 dead and you just type in 20 seconds till Kerrigan is back, everyone kind of looks at it and they go, "Oh, okay, so if we push really hard right now, like we've got 5 up, they've got 2 down, we can really take this." Mm-hmm. And sometimes they get a little, excited and continue to push well past that point. So helping those people out to back up, telling them to get out of there, not screaming at them when they don't, because whatever.
Don't be a dick, I think, is a really good rule in life in general. But
sure. Nothing to do with Colin here, but just in general.
But applies to no. We're not saying that to you, Colin. This is just coming out of just a natural evolution of the conversation Kyle and I are having. I mean, it sounds funny, yeah. Don't be a dick, but really, just don't. It's our one rule for our chat room and the live show. Take that into life. But it applies really well to multiplayer video games.
And if you can't make it through life, not being a dick, just wait. Just go play another game or something. If there is ranked queue, solo queue, whatever. Like, be a dick. Like, sure, it's your points. I get it. But if you are playing an alpha of a game, or you are in like friendly queue or not ranked, like no reason. I've seen people be dicks in this game in the cooperative mode against computers. Who are you? It's usually, I think douchebag Rainer really is kind of, it always seems like it's a Rainer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Terran players.
I've ran into multiple just really rude barbarians.
Huh.
It hasn't happened recently, but in the early days when I was running into jerks, they were always barbarians for some reason. But it doesn't matter. This is all very personal. There's no hard statistics of this whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Both are players that don't help out the other players in any way. Like, it's not like there's some complete douche like Lily running around being like, "You jackass! I just healed your ass." Like, here's a cup for you.
You know, all the crap we give Lily. I've never run into a mean Lily. That's a good point. All right, maybe I'll go a little easier on that creepy anthropomorphic panda.
No, you won't. But I do agree. If she looked a little less like E.T., I'd be happy.
Oh man, yeah, something about her head, like, it just creeps me out, man.
Something just Reese's Pieces ready.
You want to take the next email?
Yeah, this comes from Akthal. Hey, ITN. I'm used to playing with the same group of people in League and Dota 2, but I'm the only one of my friends who received an alpha invitation as of yet. I've been having a great time playing the game in solo queue, but I'm ready to move out to some organized play. How do you recommend I go about finding people to draft pick games with? Thanks, and keep up the good work.
Well, I see people always in the chat room for the draft pick games, and what that is, it's real. I mean, it's super jank at the moment. What happens is you pre-make a 5, you find another group of people that have pre-made a 5, and you go through just through chatting or through a TeamSpeak call or something, banning and picking as you would in Dota or something. And then you both queue at the same time, and you hope to God you get matched against each other, which is a good chance because you're both pre-mades and you're both queuing at the same time. And there's not a ton of people playing at the moment, but you're not guaranteed.
Oh my.
Our buddy D-Day, who's been on the show, does this a lot. He's got a team, and he practices quite often. And this is what they do. He gets his 5 men together. They find a couple other 5-man teams, and they practice against each other. But
I've seen him doing this in the chat. I didn't really think it through without the custom games in there that you would actually have to just guess.
Yeah, you just like 3, 2, 1, Q. you just hit it all at the same time. But yeah, I mean, really, I think chat's the best way to do this. Other than that, I mean, check out any of the forums for Heroes of the Storm out there. Forum.amu.tv is ours, but also check out heroesnexus.com has a very active forum. I'm just waiting for the Hearthhead equivalent or the Team Liquid equivalent. I feel like the Team Liquid one is probably a long ways off.
Yeah,
they're pretty slow to add new games, but
they tend to wait until things are pretty defined as a watchable sport and careful not to approach anything still in development.
I remember what a big deal it was when Team Liquid started doing Dota coverage.
Oh yeah, they were breaking their tradition of only StarCraft for 13 years?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, now they've got a Hearthstone equivalent, which I love, Liquid Hearth. That's a great site. But yeah, I think that's your best bet. Just keep an eye on chat and all that stuff. I mean, if you're not looking for strictly draft, I know there's people always just exchanging battle tags, over on our forums, or a lot of people tweeted us. By the way, if you tweet us your battle tag, we'll gladly retweet it if you're looking just for folks to play with. So, at ITNcast on Twitter.
It actually happens quite a bit. You can solo queue and then play with the people you just played with if you like them. I've gotten invited to a number of groups doing that.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, hope that helps. I mean, I realize it's not super helpful. There's the chat in the game, so use that. But I mean, that's where I see it the most. I haven't done it personally. I'm not. I think it's too jank. I'm not that interested yet. When it's built into the game, I'll be drafting my hat and my pants off. But
right, and we also see it in Dota. It's pretty. It's the most entertaining coverage of some of the matches. So you want it to be a certain level before you dive into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, is that what you're most excited for, Kyle? I mean, what are you hoping for from their ranked play?
I trust Blizzard to make it balanced. So my one hope is already kind of there. I just hope that drafting is a thing. I love watching that part in Dota esports, and I think it's so cool. And I think the dynamic of it in this game where everything is shared is just going to be such an interesting conversation, because you'll get to go, oh, he picked Kerrigan and a Tassadar. Well, that means Kerrigan's going to pick this. Like, it's like even the talents that you pick in between. It's not so much like, oh, here's the clicks. Well, he's going to go for damage items. Like, you can't. You're going to do what helps out your group. Maybe you'll avoid amazing talents because you have that one guy on your team. Maybe some support gets to just be completely kick-ass because another support is covering every single, mercenary bribe turn in.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm curious how the existing mode is going to exist. Like, just pick who you want to play, and you just get matched up with people, and there's mirror matchups all the time. I'm hoping that's just unranked, like fun play, because I'm really hoping like solo queue ranked, you can't get mirror matchups, and I'm really hoping for a draft mode as well.
It's interesting. Zagara is someone who doesn't have like colored creep. So an enemy Zagara laying creep, it helps you out. I escaped the other day because there was a fine creep lane right where I could go.
I'm really happy about that too, though, because that's how it functions in StarCraft. Creep is creep. There's no, delineation from enemy and friendly Zerg creep.
Exactly. You're totally standing where you're giving sight of yourself all the time. You're in prime view. But hey, you're enjoying the buff from it. But something like that makes me think, well, maybe matched, the same hero on each side is here to stay. I hope not. I think it'd be more interesting just to have completely unique teams on each side.
Right.
In fact, I saw a rather interesting kind of a tangent here, but a post on Reddit that was like, how about a game like this have like team bonuses, like in Ultimate Alliance? Is it
someone emailed us this, and it might even be in here. I thought I included it.
Oh my!
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's the next email. So why don't we read it, and we'll go from there.
Aren't I on topic tangential?
Yeah, that email came to us from Tito Santana, who said, I was thinking about this game since it's always trying to be a little different from other MOBAs, that it could steal something from Ultimate Alliance, the concept of a team bonus. In Ultimate Alliance, if you assemble some sort of themed team, X-Men, Avengers, etc., you get a particular bonus. Why not have something where if you have an all-horde team, you get 5% more damage, or if you have an all-female assassin team, you get 5% more movement speed? Hey, what are you just saying, girls are faster? What kind of sexism is this?
They couldn't do anything right there, could they?
I'm just laughing. Or if your team is all endgame bad guys, Lich King, Diablo, etc., you res 5% faster. Tito says, I think there are a lot of cool things they could do with this, making certain comps a little more interesting. This could either be a latent power, something a team gets when they are all together, or even if a certain condition happens, such as an objective being used, you could even have it so it doesn't have to be the whole team, but if certain heroes are close by each other. What are your thoughts? Well, Kyle was in the middle of letting you know his thoughts, so I will turn the brakes off and let you go back to it, Kyle.
That's awesome. I forgot how it related to the previous one, but anyway, yeah, putting the teams together. When playing Dota, there's enough undead characters or just like skeletons or zombies that I'm like, man, wouldn't it be sweet if there was an undead bonus? You could totally have that in this game. Sadly, I don't know if you could do like Horde or like, franchise specific teams, because let's face it, there's going to be a lot of WoW in this game. And I don't think any of the other, Diablo could really dig for it. But then you're fighting like Andariel, and like, why is Andariel a hero? But then again, we're getting Cho'Gall, so like, why is he a hero? He's not, exactly cover box art.
Neither is Brightwing, who is just a fairy dragon.
Yeah, fair enough. So I mean, we could reach a time. Oh man, that'd be really cool if we got a Rakanishu.
Who is a Rakanishu?
Carvers. No, not Carvers. Were they Carvers? Yeah, the little like, and Diablo, the dudes, the little blue dudes with the swords that would run up, and there's the guys resin them in the background with the stiffs, and they go Rakanishu when they as the guys.
Okay, I still don't know what you're talking about, but I'm just gonna nod my head and move the conversation along.
It was in Diablo 2, and they're in Diablo 3, but they don't say Rakanishu anymore. At any rate, you could basically be like a murky specialist who's firing goblins at people.
Okay, all right, I understand. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I look at this and this is a balancing nightmare. I don't know how you would do this, but I mean, it's a cool idea, and if anyone could make it work, I have faith in Blizzard. But I personally don't want to be. I don't feel like I would want this because I would feel like it would be like, well, he's playing Diablo. I guess I'll play Vala when I really want to play Tyrande.
Right, and I feel like if we had maybe a smaller group of heroes to select from, this might work better. So my thought is like, okay, so you have 4 people. They're all playing Diablo heroes, and you're that one guy who doesn't want to. So what you bring with that extra hero needs to be that 5% extra damage worth of skill.
Right, exactly. And then I feel like it also would promote these cookie cutter compositions.
Right. Well, it would faster anyway. We're gonna have cookie cutters. They happen.
Right.
Blizzard is working their ass off to make sure that most of the talents are viable, but that's gonna happen anyway. It'll just happen so much faster when it's like, oh, you mean I have 10 heroes to select from that are all Diablo, and I need to make a team of 5? Well, let's get down to work. And next week. A game is
right. It's promoting it to a point where it'll have even less diversity than it'll occur naturally without some type of themed bonus. Is what I'm getting at. So
that being said, I'd love to see some odd control undead or shackles kind of spells where maybe it's really good against an odd hero placement, or you have what Death Coil was originally. It did damage but healed undead. So you can't hit that undead hero running at you with that spell. Again, it's maybe just more complexity than they want in the game. They want you to be able to kind of Hearthstone it. You look at the card, you go, it controls a minion. Well, I'm just going to assume it has charge then, because why not?
Oh, yeah, you're just talking about simplicity.
Exactly. You don't want to grab Arthas for your first time and then go, ooh, sweet, Death Coil. Deals 360 and then doesn't against undead. But if the player's alive, but they're on your team, okay. Maybe I'll just skip that ability.
Yeah, exactly. All good points.
But cool idea, all the same. Like, it's a fascinating. It'd be really cool to have some sort of bonus. Maybe just aesthetic would be neat. Like they all get Horde flag capes or something.
So something that doesn't really affect the game at all. But it's just kind of fun.
Like, yeah, on the core, it changes color, or have some banners waving.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's definitely a good idea. I'm not sure if I'm in love with it. You want to take the next email?
This comes from Alex. Hello, Nexicons. So yesterday I played probably the worst comp ever. I was playing Lili and got matched up with Uther, Murky, Kerrigan, and Nova. Obviously, we lost pretty bad. Partly because our Nova spent the whole game farming. But the comp was really bad overall. I was wondering what your favorite and least favorite comps you have tried are. Thanks for the amazing show, and keep up the good work. Keep it up. I always keep it up.
I don't want to hear about you keeping it up.
Move on faster, please.
I'm looking at it. That doesn't sound like it. I've had worse comps. Although two healers and a Murky is just like, ugh.
Yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to. 2 dudes who are meant to support, and then one character that just doesn't care. Doesn't care about the game.
Uther I like Uther because he kind of feels like a soft tank. Like,
yeah,
he can take a beating and, he can just heal himself. I mean, in a pinch, but yeah, that's not a wonderful composition. I don't know specific comps off the top of my head. I just know anytime I get 2 specialists, it's just a groan fest. Like going in, I'm just like, oh no, this is going to suck. And then I get in and it does suck. I'm completely right. I've never been proven wrong. I don't like games with more than 1 specialist.
Which it has gotten amazingly, just so much better since the last patch.
Yeah, I still see it, but yeah, that happens. I mean, what about you? You want to prove me wrong here? Do you agree with me?
No, I agree with you. 2 specialists, it's a bit too much. Like, there's a couple you can get away with, like Sergeant Hammer and a healer, or Sergeant Hammer and like another pushy specialist, because Sergeant Hammer can really kind of be like, okay, well, I'll do damage then if you want to take the creeps. Yeah. Abathur and another specialist, not too bad. I mean, for worst comps ever, it's when I play Abathur and I get matched with nothing but range characters. And so my entire build, my entire shooting of barbs is rather pointless and never really in range in the first place. Or they're too busy being like Vol, and they'll flip out of the way before I can even aim up the shot, and it shoots, some ogre in the trees.
Yeah, that's a good point. Abathur and any really other, like Abathur and Murky, like when that happens, you're just like, oh my god, we have two heroes that have no map presence. I mean, technically, yes, Murky does, but not really in fights.
If you work with the Murky, I mean, you can make it happen, actually. I played a game with the Murky that it went really... Granted, this is like a 1 in 100 situation, so I agree with you 100%. But I played with this Murky, and my shield as Abathur was like half his health. So I was like doubling this Murky's health just by being Abathur on top of it.
I guess that is a good point. And I have started to see, just this past week, Murky's being more involved in the team fight, because they're not terrible. Actually, their poison can mean the difference between someone living or not being able to escape.
And there's also those situations where you're like, man, we are getting our asses kicked. But damn it, Murky, like, you badass, you keep going for that vein.
Pushing the hell out of the... Yeah.
And then they're like pushing your base. You're just depressed, like crying, and you win. You're like, well, how...
What happened?
Hey,
Murky. Hey, but a lot of times, man, I mean, if the other team is good at all about watching those pufferfish, Murky's just, they don't... If the Murky is going through that lane push build and they don't adapt to the fact that the opposing team is just killing all of his pufferfish and not letting it happen, it's wasted. Because now you've got a Murky that's spec'd for pushing. They refuse to be involved in team fights. So all of your team fights are 4-on-5. And it's just, it's rough.
I feel like, too, this happens with supports. You can get in really bad situations where you just have the wrong support for the kind of heroes you are. And that's what's happening here. A Lily and an Uther with a Kerrigan and a Nova. Kerrigan, she's okay. Like, you do damage, you gain the shield as Kerrigan. You kind of have a health bubble you can hold on to for a little bit. But Nova, someone like a Zeratul Jackson Nova, she's dead. Like, no amount of healing, even those cups flying through the air aren't going to reach her in time. You'll want someone like a Tassadar. So I think for team comp, since you and I rarely play in a full 5-man group where we kind of sit down and say, like, let's do this. The majority of my play is one-on-one with Kristen and me, or with you and me, or Ben and myself. So let's kind of run down like what you and I can kind of do as a comp.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I feel like a lot of times, like, if the two of you're together, you're communicating, you can just swing the whole map. Then you just have 3 bozos running around kind of helping you out. But if you're solid...
They're pretty much like smarter creeps. No offense to any random person I grew up with. But if I've got like one buddy in Skype, I don't really bother typing in chat. I'll ping, and that's about as far as I'll go with trying to communicate with my other teammates. But, I mean, anytime you play Tassadar, I feel like stuff just works out. I don't know I'm not even sure what it is. I don't pay close enough attention to what you're doing. But every time you play Tassadar, it seems like it doesn't matter who I play. Things go well. If I'm playing Arthas, awesome. I'm even harder to kill when I'm already pretty damn hard to kill. If I'm playing Vala, sweet. I can get a little more suicidal because you're throwing that shield on me.
Exactly. So in a situation, and I usually pick second when I play with people. So you pick Vala first, and I go, great. Tassar it is, because shield, that's like, I'm giving you an extra half of your health. Mm-hmm. You have such tiny, tiny health in the first place that, like, being something like a Tyrande, just maybe that heal doesn't land in time. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it just isn't healing you enough. There's a lot of problems that can come in, whereas with Tassar, with a lot of low health heroes, you can basically say, I choose you. Go get crazy. I'll be watching out for you. Have fun.
Did you get strafe? Good. Get in the middle of the shit.
Exactly. And just fire like crazy. If you pick someone like Arthas, you're healing yourself. I'm pretty confident in what you can do. What you really need is a damage buff. So I pick Abathur. I sit on top of you, do what I call just babysitting. Like, you're my favorite. I'm going to sit on you the whole game, and I'm going to increase your DPS by 200 every couple of seconds.
Yeah, I feel like, in the early days of the show, I was giving a lot of crap about Abathur. Like, don't play Abathur, Kyle. Every time we play Abathur, we lose. Since then, though, we really have... We've come to this understanding of each other. Like, are you playing Arthas? All right, I'm playing Abathur. And we're both really excited about that prospect.
Yeah.
Like, what I think we used to consider each other's worst heroes. I mean, obviously, Arthas got a big buff, which is what made him better and made me play him more. But I used to play him before anyway, just because I was so determined to make him work, and he was just crap. He was bad.
Yeah.
But now, we're just like high-fiving, just like, we're killing so many people, and I'm not dying. It's wonderful.
So to kind of show that, then you have a tank who's healing himself. So to kind of show the flip side of that, I like to play Diablo. But damn, that man does no damage, and he has a ton of health but can never get it back in any way. So that's great for an Uther or a Tyrande because they have huge heals. Diablo specs for increased healing, and it goes so far.
Yeah, my two favorite support are definitely Brightwing and Tyrande. And that's when you always go Diablo when I play those heroes.
Right, but if you pick, let's say, Tassadar, I wouldn't pick Diablo because that's a shield on top of a huge health pool I already have. My main concern is getting low and I'm stuck low.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point. We do run into some issues sometimes when I'm Tyrande or Diablo because of his flip ability. You're constantly moving the target out of my lunar, whatever that move is called. I always forget the name of that move.
Yeah, it was... oh, man. What's the best PC way to put this? Well... We're of one mind, but it was a completely retarded mind. It's the best way to say it. I would flip the enemy right as you stun, so I would just pull him right out of it and smack him out of it. Yep. So
this would go on for an entire game. Where it would come to a head when I would just go, God damn it, Kyle.
And so what do? We switched you to Uther, which worked amazing because now you have a single target stun.
I can't miss.
It rarely kind of maybe the cooldowns aren't the same time, so we don't run into that sort of every single time this happens. But really, I mean, if I got to play Diablo with one person, it would be Malfurion, because the heal over time is just absurd, so much healing. And then the large entangling root spot is so easy to flip and push people into.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Brightwing's good too. I love Brightwing with Diablo because when we're trying to chase people down, Diablo's ability to flip characters over him is so good for picking up a kill. And Brightwing's Pixie Dust gives you a movement speed increase so you can chase people down.
Yeah.
So there's so many... Diablo's great. Diablo's such a good warrior to pair up with a support. There's so many nice synergies there. And even Tyrande, where as long as you're talking to one another, it's not so bad. You can get your Lunar Flare off because Tyrande's movement speed increase, if you spec into it on her heal, is also great. So,
yeah. Just to kind of throw out the underline of all this, these are heroes that we enjoy, but also when we pick them together, I feel like we really get a lot done in our lane, early game into the late game. There are other wonderful combos out there. A lot of them you're not going to have that sort of game-changing presence, maybe. I loved when I would play with Dills and he would pick Nova and I'd pick Abathur. But you know what? We're kind of waiting for the perfect situation where we're actually winning and his Nova's doing well, and then I have the excuse to choose Nova and do well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we haven't had that in a while because Dills has not been playing Nova.
No, he's been all over Gazlo, which
yes, he has.
And I can't complain.
No.
He's good.
Yeah, he is. He's good Gazlo. Damn good Gazlo. So let's take our final email before wrapping up tonight. Sean wrote in and says, I was wondering what you guys thought about the movement responsiveness in this game. I haven't played very much, but I have played other MOBAs. The thing that I am having a hard time adjusting to is orb walking or stutter stepping in this game. It feels like the movement isn't very fluid as a LoL player. I am having a hard time adjusting to it. Is this something that is normal, or is it just my computer being unable to handle the game, possibly? I can't wait to play more heroes as soon as the 100% legendary drop goes away in Diablo 3. Well, this must be old because it's now permanent, so apparently you're not playing heroes at all because it's never going away from Diablo. Yeah.
Sadly, it just hasn't affected me much.
Yeah, he finished it saying, I love the shows. I am a big Hearthstone, Diablo, and now Heroes of the Storm player. Thanks for all of the entertainment you provide when I'm at work. You're welcome, Sean. Thanks for that.
Interesting that he doesn't play WoW, but he plays Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm. There must be a lot of characters he just doesn't know.
Yeah. He may have played Warcraft 3, though, which would cover most of the bases. You never know. He didn't mention that here. It's not really a current Blizzard game, so...
That's true. But if you don't play World of Warcraft and you come into Hearthstone and you're like, of all the priests, why is it this little boy? Who is this man?
Oh, there's a joke you could make there. Priests and little boys.
Whoa. Well, moving on.
Yeah. I went to Catholic school. I can make that joke. Yeah, this is... I mean, in League of Legends, you don't have a turn speed. And in Dota and StarCraft, you do. It really just boils down to that. I don't think it's your computer. I think you're just not used to a turn speed. And we've mentioned in previous episodes, in League of Legends, you can just fire spells out of your ass. Your character doesn't actually have to turn around in any sort of normal amount of time that makes sense. They can literally, like, T2000, they get slammed up against the wall, and they just bloop, form to the front automatically. Which I think is kind of lame, and it's one of the things I can't stand about League of Legends. Whereas all of my LoL friends, they get into Dota with me, and they're like, what is this shit? I can't stand this turn speed. And I'm like...
Why am I so slow and clunky? Where I'm like,
exactly.
Well, because you look good, that's why. Because you look like a badass because you're actually firing out of your gun. Because you have a gun. But let's throw LOL players a bone here. Like, your update's looking real good. I'm kind of excited for you.
Oh, yeah, I've been seeing some of that, too. One of my biggest criticisms of League of Legends for the longest time, because, and I'm prefacing this, I do a lot of art for a living, and that's why I am this way. It is ugly. It is an ugly game.
It's an old game, so you got to give it that. I mean, it came out when I was still playing Warcraft 3 to get my Dota fix.
Yes.
But, yeah, the update looks really sweet. I love that they're going with, the art style, this kind of WoW-ish, this kind of... SWTOR-ish, art style that feels like it's really going to last. You got Greg Street over there, so, there's a lot of reasons I really want to check out LOL, because I feel like we are doing them a disservice here, not talking about them a little bit, but, we have our games of choice.
We'll pull in Mork from the old StarCast days. Apparently, that's what he's playing now. We'll get in there with Mork. He'll show us the ropes. And he'll judge us hardcore. Like, you learn fast with Mork, because you get sick of being made fun of.
Yeah. There is no sugarcoating, but he's a nice guy. It's just when you ask, so what could I have done better? He knows what you could have done better.
And he doesn't just tell you. He coats it in a smarmy, sarcastic outer coating of jerk frosting.
Now, if you hadn't said that you were coming from League of Legends, I would say that this game does have a different hosting system than Dota and League of Legends do. This game is going, much like StarCraft, is going to slow down the actual game if people are lagging. So everyone is going the same speed. That's why when you play this game and you are lagging hard, that little symbol up in the corner is like, oh, you are experiencing some internet issues. That's why you aren't like ghost walking or like walking ahead 3 and then figuring out you never moved at all. So it's just kind of the system that it's running on. If everyone is lagging, you may be actually bogged down a little bit.
Gotcha. That's cool. I didn't know that.
But I certainly prefer that above, hey, I was totally halfway across the map. Why am I in my base?
Right.
We all got there a little slower.
That's a good point. But I really think it just boils down to turn speed. And which is funny because you mentioned stutter stepping, which to me, I only ever think of StarCraft because I play a lot of Terran, even though they do have a turn speed. But when you stim, it's so fast it doesn't matter.
Right, and that is certainly one of the more shocking things when you grab Raynor for the first time. You go, oh, hey, I thought I was going to be amazing at this.
Yeah, I would love a Marine that they put in the game that had stim, so you could stutter step properly. That would make you I would love just random Marine.
I feel like that's what Tychus's little dive forward was going to be, because the sound is almost exactly the same, but then they decided to give him that dash instead.
Yeah.
But it does seem weird to not have at least one Marine on the field drugging it up. Ooh, yeah. Or maybe they're going to make it a spell, actually. I mean, if they add someone like Stedman or a medevac.
Oh, and they could stim somebody else?
Exactly.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Because then you're just kind of sharing the love across the various genres and franchises.
Ooh, I like that. I like that idea a lot.
We've got to have someone with, bloodlust or heroism?
Heroism.
That's a real word.
Heroicism?
I don't know. Damn Alliance, whatever.
That sounds like a Pokemon you would catch. Heroicism, I choose you.
Hero.
God. So, anyways, I hope you get used to it, Sean. It's we've heard this. I've got a lot of League of Legends friends. We tease it on the show, but no, I hear this a lot. So, anyways, thank you all for your emails. I think that'll about do it for this episode of Into the Nexus. As always, thank you guys for leaving us reviews in the iTunes store. Haven't gotten any new ones yet, but if you haven't left us a review and you're a podcast listener via iTunes, please leave us one. It helps the show out incredibly. and doesn't cost a dime. So please drop us a review if you're enjoying the show. As always, check out amove.tv. That's where you can see everything that Kyle and I do, and even some stuff that Dills does. We got the Angry Chicken over there. We have Amove Radio, Jocelyn's Gamers Inn. It's all over there right on amove.tv, so bookmark that site. And actually, I don't mention it enough on this show, and I should. Check out Ask Dream Destroyer, which is a column that goes up once a week from Kyle's wife. If you've got any questions about Heroes of the Storm, and you want them answered, shoot her an email or a tweet, and she will probably include it in her next column. So go check that out. Our email, once again, is itncast@gmail.com. That's where all of the emails today came from. Catch us live usually on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going for the next 2 weeks, though, over at twitch.tv/amovetv. Check out alphageekradio.com for the mobile stream. Follow us on Twitter at ITNcast. I can be found at Garrett Art. Dills is at Willie Dills, and Kyle is at Kyle Ferguson. And check out BrianGriffithMusic.com because Brian Griffith made the intro music for the show and Angry Chicken. So he's awesome. Check it out. And finally, just check out my website, nomoonart.com. It's a graphic design portfolio. It's what I do, to pay the bills. If you need a freelance graphic designer, look me up. Kyle, where can people find you?
You can also find me on Amove Radio, and that is recording on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And this week I'm looking forward to hearing...
8 p.m. Eastern Time.
8 p.m.? Well, I used to be 7 p.m. in Chicago. Whatever. Yeah, no, 8 p.m. because that's when the show's live.
Yep.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yep.
But I'm looking forward to hearing about Ben's time in the new Magic. Was it a draft, or he just did sealed again?
Pre-release. Pre-release, so it's sealed. So all the pre-release events are sealed. With the exception of the last one, because it was only a draft set. So obviously it was a draft.
So we'll be having Magic talk. We'll probably be having some Korra talk over there.
Oh, we will definitely be talking some Korra.
So if you enjoyed that sort of off-topic but laid-back conversation, join us over there.
Yeah, A-Move Radio is without a doubt our most personal show. We get on there and we just talk about whatever it is that we happen to be interested in at the time. So a lot of Magic talk, a lot of TV show and movie talk, and video game talk. That's actually where all of our World of Warcraft discussion happens as well. We're all getting pretty excited for Warlords of Draenor.
Yeah, I keep jumping in the bay. I'm like, sweet. Okay, come out now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, I don't want to ruin it for myself, but I'm so ready for new WoW. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Check out our sponsors, doghousesystems.com and tweakedaudio.com. The code to use is ITN. It'll get you double memory on your next Doghouse Systems gaming rig. That same code will get you 30% off and free shipping off of your entire order of earbuds over at tweakedaudio.com. And we thank them for their support. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time for ITN number 14. Have a good one.
Take care.